Welcome, everyone. I believe we are live. I need to catch my breath. I just ran an errand and hit the door right at the time. And so I'm going to collect myself as I share some music with you. Let's make sure this is live. If you're tuning in, if you can hear this, if you can see this, go ahead and drop something in the chat. Let me know that you're here and that we are streaming both. Looks like YouTube comments are coming through. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Bernard. And waiting on Facebook to see what's happening there. We'll go kind of a very similar format. I'm going to play some music for you this morning, and then I'm going to share with you what we have to share today. We're going to talk about the 4 personalities of flute players. I have some really cool stuff to share with you around the personalities. We have some good data that has come in, so excited to share that with you. But for now, go ahead, get settled, tune in, share this with someone, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, tag a friend, put it in a group, wherever you feel like this is good to go. I see some more comments rolling in. Good morning. Thank you so much. So good to be here. I'm going to make a couple of small adjustments here, just so I can hear a little better. Let's see if this comes through. Awesome. So today I'm actually playing the same flutes I played yesterday. It wasn't the intent, but this morning as I kind of meditated and marinated on what it is that I wanted to share today, it was a little bit more low-key still, kind of entering a new week, a new month. For those of you that follow fiscal years, half years, this is it. Happy July 1st. We made it halfway through 2024. All right. I'm actually going to take my flip-flops off. It's a very summer thing to do. And I'm going to play a track that is from the Creating Harmonious Flow course. Now, all of those tracks, there are 4 of them based off of the elements. See where we're going with this? 4 and 4. In the Creating Harmonious Flow course, you learn some technique. You learn to prepare yourself and your music to go share in a holistic environment, such as yoga, meditation, Reiki, sound healing, some of those modalities where you'll be sharing music. And so what I did was I paired certain techniques, certain scales, certain patterns aligned with the elements. So it just kind of gives you something to, if you know anything about me, I love frameworks, I love resources, I love tools that help me be more creative. One of those we're going to talk about today as well. I'm going to pause here before I start playing and just mention some folks in the chat. I see some familiar faces and names here. It's good to see. Mary Jane, good to see you. Andrew, Brenda, Michael, Steve, Judy, Diane, Angelique, Corinne, Chad. Very cool. Thanks so much. Glad you guys are here today. So I'm going to be playing, this track is in the key of G. And it's the one, for those of you that have access to this course, Horizons Plus member, or you have the course as a standalone, this is the track called Hidden Message. So this one's about the water. I'm actually going to be playing it, though, with a C flute. I was testing some things this morning. I said, you know, it's a G track, but the C flute goes along with it. And I honestly think it sounds a little better. Let me know what you think. I'm going to cue it up and let me know what you think about the sound of this flute, the track, or if you've played anything in a different key than what the track suggests. Here we go. think that's good. Oh, by the way, this is a flute in the key of C. This would be considered a mid C. So if you go to a piano and you were to find middle C, this is a good reference point for most folks. You walk over to a piano, find middle C. That's what this note is. Go an octave above. So that's a flute made by J.P. Gomez of Heart Song Flutes. Okay, let's dive in. Okay. Yeah, Steve says that C flute really does sound good with that track. I think so too. Thanks, Steve. Brent, welcome. Slightly late. Me too. It's the Monday vibe today. We're not late, everyone else is early. Doesn't quite work, does it? All right, so I'm going to pull up some data for you guys. Excuse me while I move the microphone around. Sorry for the clicking and the dragging sound. I ought to get, I want to get a microphone. This one I have two different, those of you that have seen the studio walkthrough, I've got two different points where I can put the mic stand on my desk, but I would love to have one that's just overhead that I can just kind of move around at will. That one will come. My birthday's coming up. Maybe it's my birthday gift. Who knows? Okay, we're going to talk about the 4 personalities of flute players. I want to show you where you can find out what your flute playing personality is, what it means, and how you really maximize your growth. And that means your practice, your input, your effort to really define what it is that you want to do. And the thing about this, it's a quiz that you take. It's 10 simple answers, or questions rather, that you're going to answer. And they just kind of position, we started the survey with tons of questions, and I realized no one's going to sit through a 50-point questionnaire. So we dialed it down to 10. And this is the thing, you are not 100% one of these things. Much like we are all unique, we have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a lot of this, and just a handful of that. So we are a combination of these different things. So I want to show you some data. I want to show you what each one of these personalities are and what to do about it. Thanks for the comments. Loved seeing that. Michael says that J.P. Gomez flute sounds super, as his flutes do. They really do. I'm a big fan of his work. So if you go to I'm going to show you a couple things to get us there. If you go to, I can't go back here. Let me just pull up our website. There we go. Okay, so if you are on our homepage or any part of our horizonsflutestore.com, there is a take our free quiz right up here at the top. Okay, this is where the quiz lives, and so it's broken down into 4 categories. When you take the quiz, you click on this, it's going to ask you a series of questions. I could answer these, but I'd prefer that you go through this, and we're going to talk about the different personality types today. It is followed up. Your results are lengthy. I'm not going to read the entire document for each one of these because it would take us a while, but it really goes in depth. The report that you get back really goes in depth about how to approach it, what you may commonly find that you do, breaking down. I've worked with and studied a lot of flute players, and so we break this down into these 4 avatars, if you will. Okay, so let's get to some data. There are 4 different avatars. Oh, let me see if I can pull this up. There we go. This is the data. Let me drag myself out of the way here. This is the data that we get. Over 500 flute players were surveyed. Okay, and this is the results. 37% were personified pathfinders, and I'll go through what these things are. 34% apprehensive adventurer, 26% hindered drifter, and just under 3% GPS reliant. What do these things mean? Well, I'll break these down for you. So it's interesting. Again, you're gonna, when you get your result, it's gonna be mixed. You're 20% this, you're 40% this, etc., based on how you answer those questions. So let's find out what these mean. Okay, so if you are a personified pathfinder, this was one of the biggest list. This is really more, it's not really based on level. Level is a little unfair because you could be playing, I've worked with beginners who they've been playing for 6 months, but they play more at an intermediate level. I've worked with intermediates who've been playing, or someone who's been playing for 10, 15 years, and they still struggle with some of the basics. So time vested over length is not really a good indicator of what level you might be. Personality totally is. Okay, so a personified pathfinder, this is what it says. You create your own path with each note, typically avoiding sheet music and backing tracks in favor of following the melody within. While some may view you as a freedom seeker, individualist, they miss the joy and freedom of your musical journey. The personified pathfinder is someone who knows a little about a lot. And I think we find this is why this is such a big category, is because many of us identify with knowing a little bit about sheet music, a little bit about rhythm, a little bit about backing tracks, a little bit about improv, a little bit about, so forth and so on. But as it says, personified pathfinder, you're blazing a trail all on your own. You're putting things together. You really have a good sense of creativity. So one thing that may help, this is how you can adapt your playing style and learn effectively. It wouldn't hurt to get a little more structured, because if you're the type of person that comes in and you just kind of do whatever you want, you're playing this, now you're jumping over here, you might find that a little structure goes a long way. I'm not saying completely overhaul things. You'll also want to build skills, things like articulation, breath control. The more that you develop these things that you're already innately good at, you're really going to level up your playing because of these things. Another thing is to get feedback, and that's really what this quiz will do, is to help you identify what you are and how to move forward, but seek wise counsel. Not just friends who are like, oh, it sounds so pretty, I really love the way that you play. Like, those things are good mood boosters, but if we want actual constructive criticism, good constructive criticism, seek wise counsel. Find someone who you know, like, trust. Ask them, how can I improve? What do you think? That's where I come in as a coach, and I can be like, tell me what you want to sound like, how you want it to sound, and I can move you and put a plan together that's based on what you want and how I'm the one that helps you to get there. So that's a little bit about the personified pathfinder. And I know I'm just skimming the top here. There's tons of stuff to read when you get your results. And I'll post, I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and post this. I'm going to post this in the chat. Take the free quiz. Take the free quiz here. Would love for you guys to find out where you are. And I have heard, most of what I hear is, this was spot on. Occasionally I'll hear, Johnny, this is nothing like me. And that's the thing about like personality tests too. It's like putting on a mood ring. It's like, what mood am I in today? You may answer things based on a performance you just had, a practice, a performance, or first thing in the morning you feel this way, at night you feel this way. So there's a little bit of feeling here and self-judgment that comes in. So if you feel like your result isn't quite right, take it again. It may be that the way you answered one question was just a little different than what you normally do. Okay, let's move on to the hindered drifter. Now, this one was the one that was about 26% of flute players. So as a hindered drifter, you possess a unique spirit that's fueled by love of music. Though you may struggle to develop new tunes, feel like your phrasing is inconsistent, or that you lack direction, Just remember that it's common to experience creative ruts and feel stuck just noodling around. The hindered drifter is really one who just tends to noodle, is kind of in a rut, not quite sure how to put anything quite together. So let's see. Every musician goes through periods of stagnation, roadblocks, creative droughts. Like this is common for any creative endeavor. Okay. But let's look at how you can adapt your playing style to learn more effectively. Again, it comes down to expanding your vocabulary. So I know that you kind of get shiny object syndrome, jumping around quite a bit, looking for this thing and that thing. And that's where, again, that structure is going to come in. Anytime I work with a new student, whether it's in a coaching program, the Horizons Plus membership, the first thing I ask is, what do you want? What is your outcome? Because as you know, you can go down this road and there's a lot of different things that you can do. And I can prescribe you things as an instructor, as a teacher. But if you're like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Now, if there's, and I don't want to do this, but I know I should, and I know I don't want to use the word should, but if you feel like this is uncomfortable, but you know it's valuable, that maybe is something we should do. But if it's something that you really don't like, it's uncomfortable, and you feel like you're never really going to use this, it's not really in alignment with where you want to go, then pivot. That's one of my strong suits, is being resourceful and finding a way that you can learn and get what you want out of it. So anyway, we'll talk more about that in a second. So get structured. If you are this hindered drifter, just kind of drifting and noodling around, get structured, set goals. This is so important, because if you don't have something to aim at, how do you know if you're going to hit it? Stop drifting. Start getting on a path. Set some goals. They don't have to be ginormous. They don't have to be, I'm gonna make a CD and release it next year. It could be, I'm gonna learn a couple of songs, so when my friends and family come over, I have something to play for them. Okay? Small goals go a long way. And once you get those done, you could be like, dude, I've got momentum, I've got clarity, and now I'm ready to go. And then what is that next thing that you want to go for? I see some things coming in to the chat. I'm going to take just a second here. Brent says he's an apprehensive adventurer, 71%. C. Ross says, that's me. I'm more than 50% personified Pathfinder, but I do take on a little structure with a group and my local flute circle. Flute circles are awesome. Flute circles, we just had one yesterday on Horizons Plus, so it's on Zoom. We go into breakout rooms. It was all about the blues scale, and I just love, that's the thing. It's like, you need structure, you need goals, but the number one thing for growth in anything is accountability, determination and accountability. So Horizons Plus members, what I love about this is holding each other accountable, having live sessions so you can show up for them, see your neighbor, communicate, be in community. It's not just me, the talking head, that gives you direction on things to do. It's everyone, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Alan says, howdy from Florida, been watching on YouTube, but can't comment there. Oh, came in on Facebook. Good. Awesome. Oh, thanks. Four Fingers says, thanks for having such enthusiasm for teaching and compassion for your students. And Chad says, I play random stuff. Random stuff, let me tell you something. Improv, which we're going to cover in one of these sessions, and it's a big thing with flute playing. Improv is a gateway to writing songs. That's how I write songs. I improvise. I come up with things, mess with stuff. Does this sound good? No, let's get rid of that, but put this on. And it's like cooking, very experimental. I don't know. Some people follow a recipe to a science, to a degree. And then there's me, who's like, yeah, it needs a little this, it needs a little that. Throw some in there. It's all fun. It's all good. Awesome. Brenda says, love the session yesterday. Blues was a new direction for me. We heard that from a few. Thanks, Brenda, for that. Okay, so we've covered personified pathfinder. We've covered hindered drifter. Let's go on now to the apprehensive adventurer. This was another big category at 34% of flute players. I think many of us can identify with this one. Okay, so the apprehensive adventurer. This is someone with a unique musical spirit, fueled by curiosity and a desire for new experiences. Does it sound like anybody? Your knowledge of the flute is impressive, and you have a natural ability to experiment with different styles and techniques. The apprehensive adventurer, for me, is someone who can harness quite a bit of things, but they really lack confidence. So while they may struggle with integrating, right? It's almost like you know it, but it's kind of hard to do. Integrating rhythm, phrasing, embellishments, and motifs into your playing. It's a part of the learning process. And so we just need to kind of break things down a little bit, get a little bit more granular on things before just like approaching it at 20,000 feet. So breaking things down. So instead of getting discouraged, embrace the challenge. Again, when it comes back to those goal setting things, right? This is where the intentional flute player's planner comes in. This is where working with me, being in Horizons Plus, helping you to set goals, hold you accountable to those things so you are growing, not just on your own in a music room. Okay. So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep playing. Don't let that monkey mind, that negative self-talk, that sabotage, don't let that get to you, okay? So here's how, here's a little bit more about your learning style. You thrive on learning new things and exploring these experiences, okay? You like to try different things. You also appreciate having that solid foundation to build on. Okay, that's where we get granular and build up. Okay, but you also need some fun. You need to be able to let loose. You need to be able to have some playtime. We talked also in the first session about practice, play, perform. Spend time in playing, because playing is where creativity comes in. Creation, ideology, ideating, like just throwing things and seeing how they stick. Some good stuff comes out of that. So what I would recommend for you, again, is kind of the same. Build your skills, get feedback on things, set goals. This you'll see as a common thread on all of these things. But I want you to focus, because as much as you, again, have shiny object syndrome, I want you to focus and define 1 or 2 areas in which you can really practice, start to ingrain those. So if you struggle with rhythm, if you struggle with playing with backing tracks, if you struggle with integrating those embellishments into your playing, if you struggle with writing a song, if you struggle with improv, where is the area that needs the most attention for you? You probably feel it in your gut. It's like, oh yeah, I know it's that thing. It's that thing that's tough to do, that you kind of struggle with, but we need to shape it. We need to form it. We need to get comfortable with it. Okay? So I would say focus is going to be your number 1 priority. Okay? And also, in 2 things about this, and we'll go on to the last avatar. Writing songs is a really great way. Writing songs and learning songs. Writing your own songs is it's just a catalyst for creativity. You can put whatever you want, and you start to study how music is formed, and you realize, you know, when you set out like writing a song, oh my gosh, that's kind of tough. But the more that you do it, like any muscle that you exercise, the more that you do it, the easier it gets. You're going to get different ideas, new ideas, and you're going to see now how simple the form is. So writing your own music is a great way to lock in some of that focus, but also learning a piece of music that's already written. It can be very telling. It can be very scary too. But I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So let's go on to GPS reliant. This is not a big category, and I was actually surprised by this. So again, if especially for those of you that are maybe just popping in, I want to show you this the results again. So here we have it. Personified Pathfinder, 37%. Apprehensive Adventurer, 34%. Hindered Drifter, 26%. And less than 3% are GPS reliant. GPS reliant stands for gotta play structured. These are folks who have perhaps a little too much structure. And I see this especially from students who maybe have a background in music. They played the flute in high school, college, kind of had a break from it in life, and then now are kind of rekindling their spirit for music, or piano, or they play cello, or they play some other instrument that has a high level of structure to the learning. The native flute is one that a lot of folks love because of its ease and its simple approach to improvisation and music making. So for someone who comes from a very structured background, all of a sudden over here to native flute, where it's like, anything goes, brother, kind of feels like that sometimes, that can be a little miss. So where I come in is in the middle of that. We have a little bit of free form, and anytime I'm giving an assignment to a student, there's usually two things involved. One that's free form, creativity. I want to see how you tick. I want to see how you work and shape things. And then something that is very defined, like a song, or integrating something, or working on your rhythm, something that is truly hard and fast, a hard skill, rather than creating something out of nothing. Okay, so the GPS reliant loves structure. It's their greatest strength. They learn pieces of music very quickly. Their timing is usually really good. Where they struggle, though, is just kind of being freeform, being a little creative in their own work. They can struggle sometimes to even play along with backing tracks because it's a little more improvisational. So they thrive in environments that provide clear guidelines and expectations, enabling them to focus on the task at hand and delivering outstanding performances. Okay, so one way that if you score GPS reliant, which again, you're a little bit of everything, right? You're not 100% one thing. If you are, I'd be really surprised. So how do you adapt your learning style to learn effectively? Same kind of pillars here. You're going to build skills. You're going to get feedback and set goals. Like, that's a staple for everything. However, if you're really too structured and you're uncomfortable with improving or just kind of flying by the seat of your pants, then I want you to expand your emotional capacity and capability when you play music. So I touched a little bit on this yesterday. When we get into this area, especially like if you're learning a song, you learn what note comes next. That's the what. What note is next? Doesn't matter about rhythm, doesn't matter about timing. You focus on what you're playing. Then you shape it a little bit more, and then you get into the transition, and this is where you get your timing locked in. This is where you get your rhythm right, your breathing, your phrasing. I didn't say anything about embellishments yet. That's the last piece. How a song is delivered is arguably more important than what the song is. We've all heard Amazing Grace. We've all heard the national anthem or some big song, right? Sometimes we hear it and it's like, bah, okay, great. Other times, why is it that we are just pulled the emotion out of us? Tears are streaming down our face. Why? How the song was delivered. It's not the song. We've had different experiences with the same song. Okay, so embrace the noodle, become comfortable just playing and discovering sounds, textures even. Work on different lengths of phrases and test things. It's going to feel really weird and really uncomfortable. And then to write your own pieces, even if they're short. I have a whole songwriting shortcuts method to follow where you realize songwriting isn't as hard as it appears. So these are the four avatars, the four personalities, and just touching, scratching the surface on what you can do to remedy or amplify certain areas. Take the quiz. Let me know what you think. I'm interested in seeing the data, but also hearing from you and how this has worked for you. So I'm going to take a break here and look over at the chat. I see some new things coming in. Judah says, yep, she got the apprehensive adventurer. Bradley Young is in the house. Hello, sir. Aloha from Hawaii. Wonderful. Bradshaw said, I tried the bend and flutter from yesterday's meeting. Belly and belly rub, pat the head kind of technique. Definitely not sure how long it's going to take me to get that down. You're doing new things. It'll just work on it, slow it down, speed it up as you go. Perfect. All right, C.S. Ross. Love that you're always introducing us to new adventures in our flute playing, embellishments, scales, etc. But you excel at helping us put it together structurally using step-by-step with tools. 100%. Thank you so much. That I share with people, that's something that I focus on is I'm building the tools, the resources, the platform that I wish I had as a growing flute player. I'm still growing with my flutes and in my music journey. But it's kind of like I view myself as the guy that climbs the mountain that comes back down and to help you up the mountain too. That's my goal. So let me share a couple other things with you while we're here. Every day we're doing a little promotion on our store and our school. I want to talk just briefly about this and then share some music with you on the way out. So today and today only, we're doing $25 off site-wide. Any purchase $100 and up. So if you've got your eye on a flute, you can save 25 bucks on it. We've got all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be one item that's over 100. It just has to be your total that's over 100. Check out our little cute plush Cocapellis we have here. We've got triple flutes, flute cases, drone flutes, single flutes, these large ocarina flutes. We've got a few singing bowls. We've got all kinds of things on our store to help you grow as a flute player and add things to your collection. The other thing is our Horizons Plus. This time during my birthday and typically the holiday season, we do some sort of membership drive, which is when we also put our membership on sale or special. So normally it's $44 a month, and that gets you access to courses, Q&A sessions with me and others, flute circles like I talked about. We had one yesterday. We usually do 2 of those a month. We do 2 Q&As a month. We have 4 compass guides who each give a session per month, and that is in the realm of beginner only, intermediate only, holistic and spirituality endeavors with the flute, and then flute works. And that's more about like mechanics of flute, flute making, maintenance, some of those things that you may have questions about your flutes. And then we also bring in a guest instructor every month, and all this stuff is recorded and put on your dashboard. You don't have to attend live. There's so much already there that you can be absorbing. So instead of it being $528 for the year, we're doing this $1 a day. For $1 a day, you can get access to Horizons Plus. And again, there's tons of stuff already there, and it's broken down much like by category, by interest, all sorts of ways that things are broken down. So I will put this in the chat as well for you. And yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you today. So let me put this in the chat, and then I will play for you Join our membership. And if there's any Horizons Plus members, Brenda, I see you there. Alan saw you. Angelique, I see you. Andrew, Horizons Plus members, let folks know, like, what is your favorite part about Horizons? If there's one thing that you can name, or what have you experienced being a part of Horizons Plus? And what makes it so special? I know that we've got a group of folks that just, they're hardcore, they're in it, they love it, and they're getting a lot out of it. All right, so I'm going to get done talking here. Okay. And I'm going to share something with you. This is a track that I've not released. I'm still working on. It's a relatively short piece of music. And I thought it'd be fun just to kind of play with it today to see how it sounds. I'm going to bring back up my D flute made by George Dyson. It's made from bamboo. It's got a wood insert here, or nest rather. All right. So here we go. This one does not have a name. It's not released. This is something kind of new that I'm working on. I don't know if it will make the album, but for today, it's all for you. Here we go. All right. I may have to lengthen that track a little bit. Seems like it's just getting good and then it's done. So like I said, it's a little bit of a short track, but appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments coming in. This is awesome. Thank you. Just want to touch on some of these here. Wonderful. Andrew says, wonderful to realize introspection is essential in developing self-awareness. Yes. Brenda says, well worth your money, this school. Thank you. Angelique, really like the community, how we support each other, how we learn from each other. I love the guest teachers also, feel supported. Also, the quality of Jonny's courses is really good. For beginners, it's easy to follow. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Angelique. Anthony, yeah, sharing my birthday with everybody. Woohoo! It's not till Saturday. I had to think about what day it was. So birthday's not till Saturday, but we like to do multi-day celebrations because why not, right? Brenda says, love it all. The whole membership has opened my flute playing and shyness to play in front of people. Awesome. Build your confidence to excel in playing and continue on with what makes your soul sing. Absolutely. And Alan, yep, we got another Horizons Plus member here. Having resources and contact with other people who have the same interest and so much more. Love this. Thank you. Steve says, best decision I ever made was joining Horizons Plus. Thank you. Put a lot of love, put a lot of energy into it, and it's a great thing, but members make it what it is. And if I was just making content to be making content, well, I would still love it, but it wouldn't be as rewarding, because seeing and hearing and witnessing the transformation in students' progress in sound, in style, in voice, in creativity, in confidence, in clarity, in all of these areas, right? It's not just as simple as playing the flute. It's a tool, it's a vehicle of expression. It's attached so deeply to us, right? When we share stories of how we found the flute, it's like the flute found us. That's every single story I hear. That's what I hear. Number one thing, I heard the flute. Okay, you heard it. It called. It called to me, and I picked up the phone. I said, I want to do that. I think that explains probably about 99% of us. We hear the flute. We love it. We got to have it. I did when I was 13 years old, and every day since. Okay, off my little soapbox here. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliments on the song. Love it. Just a couple more things here. Florence says Horizons is so full of learning. Just signed up again, so you just renewed. Yep, love that. Thank you. Full library of courses you can go through at your own pace. Love the Zoom workshops, Zoom flute circles, Q&As, and compass guides. Thank you. All the above. All the above. Thank you guys so much. Hey, tune in tomorrow, because I believe tomorrow... Let me just double check my schedule here. Horizons Plus people know that Google Docs is my friend, and I've got lots of things written here. Yeah, tomorrow, bring your flute. Today wasn't as much technical learning as much as it was like focus, direction, and introspection. But tomorrow we are going to turn up the sass and the attitude. And we're going to make it a little bit more bluesy. So I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to have an A flute. So if you have an A flute, that would be great, but you don't have to have an A flute. You can use whatever flute. Everything I show you, you can transfer to other keys. Not a problem at all. So we've got about 5 techniques that we're going to do to kind of make it fun. Make your nose, make your nose wrinkle up, right? Your lip curl, like that's good blues. So tomorrow we're going to focus on that. So be prepared, 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope to see you there. And I have chores to do. So I will go do those now and make a little music. Pick your flute up today. Make sure that you play at least 1 note. If you play 100 notes, that's even better. All right. Take care, friends. We'll see you next time.